Eric Francis. There he is. Blockbuster card in the background, little hoodie. What's with the hockey glove up there? What's the significance of the hockey glove on that shelf?
Oh, it's just my little guy's first glove that he ever wore.
Aw. That's cute. Very cute.
Yeah.
Calgary Flames. I watched most of the game, so I put an in-game bet on it. They almost blow that last night. They're up 3-0.
They're up 3-0, and I would say, like, you always hear fans say, "Man, we don't get any breaks." Every fan thinks his team never gets any breaks, and obviously never gets any calls from the refs. But I saw this confluence of about 5 of the most ridiculous breaks in like a 5-minute segment that the Flames got. Like they were. That's a lucky win, and full marks. You go to Seattle. You earn every road win, and your goalie had to stand on his head the last 2 periods. But like, did you see the first period by chance?
No, I picked it up. They were up 3-0.
Oh, okay. So first period, Seattle scores first. Calgary got in at 3 a.m. from Calgary, customs issues. Thank you, Donald. And they finally, they're all tired. Played the night before, and then they get scored on first, and the body language is not good from Dan Vladar. Anyway, they decide to challenge it for goaltender interference, and you're like, whoa, come on. Anyway, it goes in the Flames' favor, and you're like, that is pretty loose interpretation of goalie interference, but whatever. Then the Flames score a very, very lucky goal. Wow, the new guy, Frost, scores a goal. That's a nice goal. Then Sharon Govich loses the handle on a deke, and it goes between the goalie's legs like pee-wee hockey. And so at the end of it, and I've never seen this. I don't remember ever seeing this. They call a penalty, like I guess seconds after the puck went in. So after the goal is scored, like it's not a delayed penalty. It's like, okay, Flames scored and a penalty has to be served as soon as we start play. So I've never seen that before.
What was the penalty for?
Slashing. Couldn't believe it. And, unless it happened behind the play when they were celebrating, which I didn't see, I think it was happening in the act of the breakaway. But anyway, then Seattle decides to challenge it. The challenge is they lose the challenge. I think they probably should have won the challenge. It was very similar to the Flames goaltender interference. So then the Flames have a 5-on-3 power play. Like, it's just a comedy of errors for Seattle. Flames score on 5-on-3, and game's pretty much over. But, the Flames have trouble scoring, as is well documented, but they got a lot of breaks in one game. They're not going to get many for the next little while, I don't think.
Give us a look, again, behind the curtain. What kind of border issues would an NHL team have when taking a charter somewhere? What are they worried about?
This one should have been pretty straightforward. There is a bit of a problem over time when you go into a country and out of the country with the same amount of people, basically the same bill of goods that you're showing customs. It should be pretty open and shut, but they didn't get into Seattle. Like, Calgary to Seattle is not a long trip. They left Calgary, about 10:45 wheels up. They get into the airport, the hotel in Seattle at 3 a.m. That's ouch. They just sat on the tarmac waiting for customs. And as we all know, when you're dealing with customs, you don't ask questions. You just pray that whenever they get to you, everything moves, swimmingly. So this has happened to them a couple times of late, and I'm not going to say it's just because of the new leadership in the United States, but man, it sure is easy to blame him for everything, isn't it?
See, I've only ever had customs issue the other way, coming back to Canada, where they always seem like they're kind of hardos, and I'm like, okay, well, what's the other option? Send me back? Sure. Yeah, golf clubs are still here. Like, send me back to Phoenix or wherever. I don't need to come in that bad.
Those are your words, that they're hardos. I don't have a bad word to say about anybody in customs ever.
I'm going to be calling you when I'm going through there in a couple of weeks. Hey, I'm stuck. That trade, though, let's go to the trade now. It happened quick, didn't it?
Greg Conroy said it started that morning. Like, you never hear a GM say that. They always say, we had talked 6 months ago and said we'd revisit it, and here they were doing it in one day. And what I thought was interesting was he said originally started as a one for one deal. And I've been racking my brain trying to figure out what that one for one deal is, because their goal has been for over a year to land a centerman. So it was obviously Morgan Frost who was the primary person. What were the Flames giving back? To me, it would have been Frost for a second rounder, and that's simple. And then they thought they'll throw in Kuzmenko because they've got a Russian and maybe he could help him. But then you've got to make the money balance out, because Kuzmenko's $5.5 million. So they had Farabee, who's $5 million, and they kind of wanted to get out from under that contract. So then it just adds up. And what I always told is that there was salary retention at one point in the trade. The Flames were going to have to pay for some of Kuzmenko's deal. And then I think that's when they threw in Pelche and broke the hearts of a lot of young people around this town, because he was a real popular player. He's only barely became a player, an NHL player, only recently. Like kind of only recently proven that he was an NHLer for good. But man, he affected a lot of people. People absolutely.
There we go. Okay, pick it up. We just lost the feed there. Technical difficulties. We're back. Just on the trade though, the Flames, yeah, like I think you mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. They needed a center, right? So they tackle that issue. The Philly thing, it's almost like it's kind of just spare parts for them.
I'll be honest, I feel like it was spare parts for both sides, and I don't mean to throw shade on any human being and call them a spare part, but like Jacob Pelche, like I said, up until maybe 2 weeks ago, was barely a fourth liner in the NHL. Like, he's a first round draft pick, and people had high hopes for him. But and Kuzmenko had scored 4 goals this year. He was in and out of the lineup all the time. And then Farabee was another guy. You're paying him $5 million a year for 3 more years. If you're rebuilding in Philly, you have no need for that contract. He only scored 20 goals twice. And Morgan Frost was a center who you hoped. I think that the Tortorella, Morgan Frost issues got to the point where they're just like, look, we can cash in on a center because everybody in the league needs a center who's proven in the league. Let's get him out of here, get him away from Torts, and we'll see if maybe he can flourish. And, I'm pretty optimistic that here in Calgary, where he's going to get more ice time and less flack from the coach, that I think he can be a much more productive NHLer. So good deal for the Flames, I think.
And then the Kuzmenko, like you mentioned it on here as well, he's underachieving big time. Oh. Can he turn it around in Philly? Like you said, he's got a Russian buddy there, but that could almost go south the other way, where now both of them are basically a pain in your behind.
100%. But it's Matvei Michkov, who they've got high hopes on. They're going to try and build their franchise around a guy like that. And I think, he hasn't been what they had hoped. And I think they thought, well, maybe if we insulate him somewhat with a guy who speaks the language, those two guys can commiserate one together. Look, Kuzmenko's on the last year of his deal. My guess is he'll be out of the NHL after this season. I mean, he's just been that bad this year. Skill-wise, one of the most skilled players I've ever seen in my career. And, and they used to say that in Calgary about Kent Nilsson here in Calgary. That was before my time here, but said, the most skilled player ever to come through here. Gretzky said he was the most skilled hockey player he'd ever seen. But unless you got the toolbox and you can put it all together and you got the right mindset, it's a waste of talent. And that's where Kuzmenko's at. Like, he just can't figure this out. 2 years ago, Barney, he had 39 goals. That's an amazing thing for a rookie in the NHL to come in and get 39 goals. Now he's on the verge of getting jettisoned out of the league because he can't figure things out between years.
Trying to think of a guy that's kind of fallen off the map like that. That's a big number, 39.
Yeah.
You always talk about the other side of the mountain, where Vancouver, and then last week we talked about, are they going to trade him? I talked to Farhan Lalji. It didn't sound like anything. And then they pull the trigger on the deal with the Rangers. I watched the Rangers this weekend, bits and pieces, because they play the afternoon games twice. Like they look like a new team. He's playing with Zibanejad and he's on that power play. It'd be interesting now if the Rangers make the playoffs. They make a push here. It's so tight in the East. But what does that do do you think, for the Canucks now, a team that the Flames are battling for this playoff spot? And Quinn Hughes, now he's hurt. Without him in the lineup, I like the position that the Flames are in. I don't know how many games left, 30-ish?
Yeah, I'm with you. If he stays out of the lineup for any amount of time, look, I bet you everybody in Calgary is hoping Quinn Hughes definitely goes and plays in the Four Nations tournament and tests whatever injury he's got. Yeah, they go for it. But again, another example. We talked recently about whether Austin Matthews should go, and I think the answer should be negative. But I do think we're going to see some guys pull out, and more guys start to pull out of that tournament for injury reasons and to preserve themselves for the people who pay the freight, But Quinn Hughes, he saved their season. I mean, without Quinn Hughes, that team is not even close to being in a playoff race. I think Kevin Lankinen saved their season early with some great goaltending when Demko was out, and now I think it's Quinn Hughes. And if he's hurt, Calgary Flames are in the driver's seat. But I think time will tell. I think I know the answer, but I wonder. I don't know if you think the same thing, but I think the Vancouver Canucks traded the wrong guy. Like, if you've got a personality issue in that room between a guy who cares too much and is probably a bit of a jerk because of it, and a guy who cares too little and also makes big money for the next bunch of years, 8 more years, pretty obvious to me who's getting shown the door. As a matter of fact, I don't think that chapter's closed. I still think there's a chance that the Vancouver Canucks try real hard to trade Elias Pettersson before the July 1st deadline, when he has full no trade.
It almost feels like Elias Pettersson is now like, oh crap. Now I got to perform here, right? Like they traded him. It's on me. I hitch my wagon to the disruptor that maybe that JT Miller was, and just the grit and everything he's a dog, right? I hitch my wagon to that, or get rid of both of them. Like, where you said maybe it still could happen that he gets shipped out of town as well. But I was thinking about this today when I was listening. I think I was actually listening to a Vancouver station, and they're talking about how they got to keep Quinn Hughes happy for the next 2 years, 3 years, because he's got 2 more years left on his deal, and then it's like and I'm like, I don't know if there was a cool bet on where he is in 4 years. Yeah. It starts with a new and ends with a jersey.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you got to be paranoid if you're and I don't want you getting any trouble with any Flames or with any Canucks fans, but I would just think common sense. Put yourself in his shoes.
Yeah. He can write his own ticket, man. He's the best defenseman in the league, or I still think Makar's slightly better, but either way, I think you could even argue that Quinn Hughes plays a more important role for his team than Makar does, because Makar's at least got McKinnon to lean on as well. So, that's going to be something that's going to. I heard that was on. I heard something similar about that today on the radio as well too. They have to make sure they keep him happy, and all this noise that's been happening last year. He can't be happy, and we'll see where this goes. Like, if you're trading Pettersson before the July 1st deadline, when you can't trade him after that, then you're basically starting from scratch, aren't you? Like, you got Quinn Hughes and a bunch of misfit toys you gather and trade. I don't know. It could also just turn around. Maybe this was so bad. I mean, it was obviously so bad that JT Miller had to take time away from the team. I mean, this whole drama needed to end one way or the other. I think ideally it would have ended the other way with Pettersson going. But now that they've done one thing, let's see. You're right. This is all on Pettersson, and I don't think he has broad enough shoulders to carry the load that he's going to be asked to handle from now on.
I would have went with stones. You went with shoulders. Same thing. But I think Hughes can always go back to this, even a year down the road. Be like, turmoil. I want to. want a fresh look somewhere. I want something new. You want to play with your brothers, which who wouldn't want to? 3 brothers, play with them. Yeah, New Jersey's gonna be good, right? It's not like you're going to a Bush League franchise. We have some clips here if you're watching the stream. Like how good are these, and how awesome? Which is the first one? These hits. This is the one on Pietrangelo, Cooley, and he has to drop the gloves if you're watching the stream. If not, it was just a massive hit. Rangers Golden Knights game, a decleater as they would call it in football. Pietrangelo not going to the Four Nations. He looked roughed after that. And then the other one is the Pahal hit.
Yeah, I knew you were going to show that.
And then, he kind of has to answer the bell as well. And that was early. Calgary was up 1-0 yesterday. And so, can you play that one again, Curtis? Or here's another look. Oh,
like there's no debating whether or not that's clean or not. Like that's just clean. But the knee-jerk reaction from every player and probably every opposing fan in the NHL is always that was dirty, because we just don't see hitting anymore, right? It's the no-hit league. And God bless guys like Pahal, who is just he's stayed in the league this year, just signed a 2-year extension, because he's one of the few guys in the league who knows that he can hit really well, and he does it every game. And you're right, he knows as soon as he delivers a hit like that, he's going to have to fight. So if you watch that clip one more time, you'll see he finishes the hit, gets up, and drops his gloves, and is looking around going, "Which one of you guys is coming?" That to me, we need more NHL hockey players like that.
Good Estevan, Saskatchewan boy. And the second view here, like you can't ask for more of a shoulder on body hit. Like there is nothing dirty about. Like that is such a good hockey hit. Did he get a penalty for that?
Nope.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. He just got a fighting. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And you know what? I love this kid. You'll be hearing more and more of him. Like I said, Flames got him in a trade, definitely as a spare part. No, they picked him up off waivers from the Vegas Golden Knights.
Vegas, yeah.
Turned this guy. Well, they haven't turned him into. He's turned himself into like. This is gonna sound weird to say, but like, maybe this is a little over the top, but like he's the ultimate number 6, if you ask me, on a blue line. You know, his job is. Go out there, play 13 minutes a night, 14 minutes a night. And oh, by the way, help us establish an identity of being a hard-hitting team and a hard team to play against. Like, and if you can do that, there's a lot of teams in the league I think would want you.
Classic Kelly McCrimmon, just finding a good prairie boy, working him in. Like you look at his elite prospects, right? Like he put in his time. AHL, East Coast League. No, it's great to see. Okay, what about, we talked about Mackenzie Weegar, and we talked about Drew Doughty. Doughty's back now with the Kings and playing a lot of minutes. Like, do you see him? Like, when are they announcing it? Later this week?
Well, they got to announce it soon, because Weegar's got to get his cancellation insurance in order for Mexico if they're going to bring him. When they announce it publicly and when they tell the player, probably two different things. But, the tournament starts a week from, 2 days, 9 days from now. So, look, we knew he'd have a 6-game tryout. He's played 3 of those. I've been looking at the stats after every game. I haven't watched him. But you're right. He's playing between 24 and 27 minutes a night. Like, that's what a horse to not play for the whole year and then jump in and do that. But he's only got 1 assist. Now, I know you don't measure it just on that, especially when a guy's just coming back, but he's been playing on the power play. They've been giving him opportunity. The Kings haven't been playing very well lately. I'm not blaming any of them. It just adds to the quandary I think they face. To me, because he hasn't come in and blown anybody away, to me, you don't take the chance. I know that you owe him. I know that you've won all sorts of things internationally with this guy on your team. Maybe you feel you owe him, but I don't think that's the reason you bring him. I think you go with a guy like Mackenzie Weegar, who can, we've talked about it before, and I am biased because I watch him every night, but he can do everything. You can bring him in and play him strictly defensively. You can bring him in, you can run your second power play. He hits guys, he blocks shots. Like, He does all the intangibles. I don't think there's a guy on that roster that does all the different things. Look, all the other defensemen are better than him, don't get me wrong, but he can give you a little bit of everything and do it at a high level. So there's no risk in bringing Mackenzie Weegar. There's risk involved with having Drew Doughty.
Yeah, he came back. They get they get shut out in Florida. Then they get shut out in Tampa. Then they scored 2 goals in Carolina. It's going to be interesting. Okay, I want to leave you with this video. If you're watching this stream again, did you see this? These kids coming on the ice?
Yeah.
And the one kid's stick gets caught, and the other guy behind him goes right. There's $300 right there for some parent. All the kids are running on the ice. They're doing a heck of a job, but the one kid's stick gets caught, and then his teammate goes right through and cracks it in half.
Might have broken a rib too on the way through. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh
so no Maz today. He's he didn't get a chance to join us back, but he'll be back with you on Wednesday.
Hey, can I ask you a question about Saskatchewan?
As long as it's not tariff related. This is a tariff-free show.
No, do you have Aussie bites there? Do you know what an Aussie bite is?
Oh, I've heard of
okay.
I think I've heard of those before. What are
I'll
they?
leave that with you. We'll discuss it next time. And if you don't have them in the province, we can ship them there tariff free. That's my promise to you. But just something to think about.
Send it on a Greyhound.
Like the ones they sell at Costco?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So I knew you had Costco there, but they, not all Costco's carry the same stuff.
No,
look,
we don't have a Costco. All we got in town is a Red Apple and a sand store. The last sand store still around in Regina. That's all we got here, Eric. Let me know.
I knew you had. Don't get me in trouble here. Okay, go to your local Costco if you have a membership. Go get yourself some Aussie bites. Do yourself a favor, but be warned. You'll slam $1 million back every day. That's my problem right now.
I don't set foot in Costco. That's Mrs. S's job, and then she's even gone down the ordering because there's only one in town, and it's way on the it's driving. I'm better off driving halfway to Saskatoon than going the other way to Costco. I'm dead serious. And then so the next time I will step foot in a Costco will probably be first week of July in Kalispell, Montana.
I have a great story about the Kalispell, Montana Costco. We'll save it for on Wednesday. I'm
not here Wednesday. Why can't you say it now?
Oh, okay. I thought you had to run.
No, go ahead.
I'm dating this gal, I don't know, 25 years ago. I ended up marrying her. She's my wife.
Sarah?
Been 20 years. Yeah, Sarah. 20 years, been together. We're dating, maybe 26, 27 years ago. My God. Her parents own a place in Kalispell. You and I have talked about it there at Meadow Lake. And I go down. It's my first time ever in a Costco. I've never seen such an incredible. This is my Willy Wonka moment. I've never seen better Disneyland, better than Augusta National. I'm like, oh my God, everything's so cheap. Everything's right there on pallets, big parking spots, big carts. This is the greatest day of my life. So I start loading my cart up. I'm just visiting. I met her parents. Literally, we came across the border. They said, we'll meet you at the Costco. So I literally just, hi, Ann. Hi, Jerry. How are you? I'm Eric. I'm dating your daughter, blah, blah, blah. I load up my cart with almost $2,000 worth of stuff. I got a microwave. I got a tube from my cottage. I got $2,000. And then I get to the till, and I don't have a Costco card, and I certainly don't have cash. So I'm not, I basically, and they couldn't take my debit card, whatever. There was a problem. I turned to these people who I didn't even know, and it wasn't an option to just put everything back or say, okay, I guess I have to come back some other day. I turned to Ann and Jerry, who I met 12 minutes earlier, and I'm like, is there any chance I could borrow a couple grand from you? What the hell? Can you imagine? And I ended up marrying her, and they allowed it to happen. Holy cow, what a dirtbag.
Did you ever pay him back?
No, that's the best part. Never will I pay them back. No
Still
way.
have the microwave and whatever else you bought. Yeah. No, that, you know what? It's tricky. It was tricky there, and I don't know if it still is, but they would take different credit cards in the States at Costco than they did in Canada. So if you didn't have, if you were like Visa here and you went and you didn't have a Master or whatever, it's vice versa. Yeah, you get stuck. And then Interact was always a Canadian thing. Like Interact in the US came later. Like for some reason, it's one of our, you know, kind of like Anne Murray. We hang our hat on like some real good thing. We were Interact first, and then you'd go, well, I'll just Interact it. And then everyone at Costco sitting there going, what? What's Interact? It's like, no, cash or Visa, you pigeon.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's good. Well, you didn't have to pay him back. That's even better.
Oh, come on. I paid them back, probably with interest. I'm a good guy that way. And otherwise, they wouldn't have let me marry their daughter.
Okay, buddy. You're with Maz on Wednesday, and then we'll catch up next Monday. Are you going to Four Nations?
Yeah, I leave next Tuesday. So I'll probably have to call you that following Wednesday before the game from Montreal.
I might be there. I got my media pass today.
Oh, boy.
I don't know if I'm going to go, though.
You should go.
I don't know. Does Sarah's parents, do they got any extra funds? Can they lend me some money?
I'll give them a call. I'll hit them up. They're good like that.
You can lend me some air miles. Okay, see you next Monday, bud. Later.
See you, buddy. Cheers.
Eric.